Now all you people, I want you to set those headphones down. Get up. I said get up off your chairs and sing it with me one time. One time. It don't cost nothing, but you feel real good. But here we go. It's the hump day, happy hour hangout. Yes, it's the hump day, happy hour hangout. Oh yes, let's all get used at the director's garage.
Ah, it never gets old. I love those things, man. Those custom themes, they're everything. How you doing, everybody? Well, happy hump day, almost kind of belated hump day happy hour hangout. Here at the Director's Garage, I'm your host and resident idiot, Michael, and we got a lot to talk about today. Meze, this is a Meze. This is the Meze lyric, first lyric. I love these things. I love these. I took these with me for the production thing that I did earlier this week. If you remember when last we met, I was talking about how I had a shoot that I was doing on Tuesday of this week, and it was this CW shoot. I didn't pull the pictures over. I should have pulled the pictures over. Can I do that? Whatever. It's not worth it. But I took the camera and the streaming equipment and some lighting and the audio, except for this microphone. I left the microphone. And I boxed it all up with a monitor and a bunch of monitors, and I went over to KTLA, which is a television station here in SoCal, and I set it all up to do a live stream across the nation, and different outlets at different times would tune into this live stream I was doing, and they would go live with the 2 stars from a new show on the CW called Good Cop, Bad Cop, and one of the stars is Luke something or other, and then the other one was Leighton Meester, who was in Gossip Girl and a couple other things. But they talk back and forth to morning show hosts all across the U.S., and then we did Australia in the afternoon, and we did some local outlets too. So it was a big, huge day and a big deal, and I ran it all. I installed it and pulled it all off, and they had good pictures and good sound, and it came out real well. But I had to tear all of this out, transport it, set it up, and then tear it all down and transport it back here and set it all up so that we could do the live stream. And it wasn't all quite together by yesterday. So you'll notice that things are a little bit off because you can never get the camera in the exact same position it was in. And, and it's bright out today, so I'm a little washed out because I got the drapes open because Howley is my cat. He's down here scratching around on anything he can get his nails into right now. Howley had a little incident last Thursday. I'm just talking right now to get everybody in the door, and then we'll go off onto our subjects. I know everybody wants to talk about the Meze, and I've got a viewer system today. We're going to do some fun stuff. It'll be a good day. But I do have a couple of stories, and I like to get those out of the way because there's always something crazy happening here, as you know. And Howley... we had one night last week, it was Thursday night, where it was windy. And I know Holly gets freaked out when it gets windy outside. So I was a little nervous because by 11:30 at night, he hadn't come home yet. So I have a little air tag on him so I can track him on my iPhone. And when he gets near another cell phone anywhere in the neighborhood, it'll ping me and say, hey, your cat's over here. So I noticed he was pretty far away from him, a good quarter mile away from home. And he wasn't coming home, and it was way past his dinner time, and he never misses a meal. So I went down. I walked down the hill towards Howley, and I just followed his little dot, and he got trapped in a neighbor's yard. The neighbor has really tall gates, and he has chicken wire along the bottom. So everything was fine. And somebody came off the property at like 12:30 at night, and I said, you know, my cat's in there. He's meowing. He's trying to get to me. Can I get in there and get him? Well, 5 people came out and freaked him out with flashlights, and he got so scared that he jumped over the chicken wire to escape and get off the property. And when he did that, he cut his paws up. So poor guy has been miserable. His paws hurt, not infected, nothing serious, but they are, you know, it's like what if you got like 10 paper cuts on each finger, and you know what I mean? Like the human equivalent of it. And I finally, then he was like hiding from me because he was scared. I wound up getting him home. He wound up climbing up the side of a house that was for sale and abandoned. Not abandoned, but it was just vacant because it's for sale. And I went up, it took me till 3 o'clock in the morning to talk him into getting close enough to the cage where I could get him in the cage, take him home, feed him, tend to his wounds a little bit. And but he's been stomping around. The first couple of days he couldn't even walk. He was just couldn't put any pressure on his front paws, and he was just limping around. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun week for him. And now he's starting to feel a little better, and he's moving around the office just fine. But I'm not letting him out until his paws are healed, because if he gets into a situation where he's got to escape fast, he can really hurt himself. And I don't want that. So he's going to stay in, and he bitches at me. You're going to hear at some point he's going to come up to me and he's going to be tapping me during this live stream. I guarantee it. So that was my little drama there. Holly is trapped in, and he's not happy. He likes his freedom. He likes to roam. He likes to go sit in the sun. Not happening until the paws are healed. I want him 100% before he goes outdoors again, even though it's going to annoy the hell out of me. Other news. I listed the KGSSHV. I know hipster cows like going, oh, please, nobody buy it, but I did have to list the KGSSHV. I need to get some movement on that. Hipster cow wants to buy it, and I really would love to sell it to him. I just need to get it moving, and he's not ready. So it's unfortunate, but I listed that on HeadFi. You can go over there and see a couple of pictures, and I linked the videos to those, the 2 review episodes of that over there. If you're interested in what I consider to be the best ESTAT amplifier I've ever heard, that's for sale now. It's now available. It's on HeadFi, and of course HeadFi is having a big, I want to make sure I'm not distorting. I'm seeing some levels go into the red, and that's never a good thing, my friends. I'm going to pull this back a little. But it's for sale now on HeadFi in the classifieds. We can even go there and do a little classified look through. We love doing that segment if we have time today. But yeah, it's there. And I'm listing it at $5,000. It's $8,100 new. It's got the Alps It's got the Alps RK50 attenuator in it. Pardon me, burping. For those interested, it's the absolute top of the top line carbon KGSSHV carbon CC, which I call the alphabet amp because it's got so many letters in it. So those are the 3 main things. I have continued my review of the A6. I'm starting to shape that script together. It's starting to come together, and I'm seeing how I want to review it. I have so many positive things to say about this. For a $750 unit, and you can even get it for less than that. I've seen them for less than that. This Eversolo A6 is a dynamic little piece of gear. It does a lot. It's super slick, and it's super cool, and man, is it cheap. You know, on the price scale of HeadFi stuff, man, is it a bargain. You get so much with this thing. I can't wait to get that review out and get to tell that story, because it's a wonderful unit. And I started doing taxes, because that's kind of my next big assignment. I want to get the taxes done before I jump into another video for the channel. So I was listening last night, and I was listening to hip hop. I went back and I listened to old hip hop. I was listening to Dr. Dre, and I was listening to some Eminem and some Snoop Dogg, and really enjoying the night as I was going through my taxes and starting to get my W-2s all together. I had a major I'm known to spill this iced tea from time to time, and I spilled it all over my tax documents, so I had to copy everything after it dried. So I have clean copies to hand over the accountant, not these crumpled up, wrinkled up papers. I really toasted every single piece of paper on my desk because it was a full iced tea that I knocked over by mistake. No, I knocked it over on purpose. But no, it's funny. But it's ridiculous. It was quite a sight here at the director's garage. I was listening to some hip hop as I was getting these papers together and doing stuff. And I think after jumping, I tried the 1266 TC because I thought, oh, the boomy bass, maybe that would be fun on the 1266. But the treble is too articulate for rap, for hip hop, and so I was like, nah, it's not really working. The Modhouse Tungsten might be the best hip hop headphone I've ever heard. It was such a great night. I went through album after album. I went through Chronic, and I went through Compton, and the Slim Shady Show, and it was so fun. I don't get in rap mood to listen to hip hop much, but once in a while I just want to just have some fun bouncy music that's got a lot of thump to it, and the lyrics are ridiculous. I mean, just silly with the they're all posing and doing the stuff they do in those lyrics. It was just a fun night, and I was just rocking out to hip hop in my Modhouse Tungsten. It's the custom colored one. There it is. You can see the green on one side, purple on the other, courtesy of Mr. Ryan Dietz, who's in the house today. Gotta get Ryan back on a show one of these days. We gotta get him to do a public appearance and talk all about his mod house sometime. I like to catch up and get him on the record here. That'd be a fun day. But that's like catches everybody kind of up to speed with what's going on here. I had to tear all the video stuff out and set it back up, so it's all just a little bit off from where it was. I'm trying to find the right angles. I know, see, there's a little reflection. That's my light, and I never had that before, or at least it was way less minimized. So for some reason, something's a little off on the angle, and I'm catching the light reflection on my monitor, where you normally just see director's garage. It's also not helping that the curtains are open. It makes everything much brighter back there, reflective. So that's why we're a little bit out of whack today, but it's all coming. At least it all works. You know what I mean? So what's coming up? We got Can Jam this weekend. And a bunch of you are heading to that. I know viewer Gene is going to head over there, and he's going to be able to talk to us about, he's going to report back to us next weekend on the Hangover Hangout, which will be March 1st. We're going to get the Gene report. We're going to kind of let Gene take over the show and share with us what he listened to and what he enjoyed. And hopefully anybody else who's on that live stream who goes to Can Jam in New York can stop in. And maybe Rigo will be there too. So that would be cool to get some different opinions on the biggest audio show of the year to date. And two key new headphones are coming out at that, one of which is in the title of this episode, The Poet. We're going to take a look at that in a second. And the other one we talked about last week was the Abyss Joel. Yes, Joel. Joal. Joel. Jack of all listening, I guess it is. It stands for. So we checked that one out last week. Go ahead, you can go watch that live stream if you want to see us kind of funning on it, having a good time with it. But the new headphone from Meze was announced today, and it be called the Poet. I don't know, guys. Don't ask me. But let's take a look at it. Here's the Poet. And it looks a lot like, it's in the same shape and style as the other Meze Elite, Meze Empyrean, very similar in style. Biggest difference is the housing on top I gotta kill. Can I do this? Will this play a sound? Let's kill the music. All right, kill this. Take a look at the video together and see what it looks like. But the biggest difference is the headband. Instead of having a carbon fiber dual strap like the expensive Elite and Empyrean 2, it's got a wire, 2 wires. You can see them coming in there right at the right side of the screen. These people are really, they're about to read poetry, and that's why they're enjoying the poet. Looks like she picked him up backwards. Oh, but now she flipped him. Okay. But there. Okay, so you see on the top of this thing, there's these 2 bands, and this is un-Meze, but all reports say that these things are pretty comfortable. They're a pretty comfortable headphone. They look beautiful. I actually think they're quite attractive. They did another stunning design on these. So apparently this is the story of how if you like poetry, you will go out for a drive in the woods and then wind up at your apartment where she starts wearing them and then he snatches them and says, "No, these are my headphones." That's the story that's being told here. Good God. But pretty cool. Okay, so the Meze Poet. What do we know about them? They caress your palate with lush, airy vocals. Oh God, we're going to get into marketing. This cracks me up. Lush, airy vocals and precise bass impact for a balanced low end. So it sounds like they're more neutral than they're planning to come in more neutral than, say, the Elite, which has a more pronounced bass on them. Its natural tonality is delicately enhanced by subtle hints of sparkle, adding for a lively character, excellent detail retrieval. And this is based off of the Meze Elite driver, I'm told. And separation, bring your music to life, making Poet a harmonious blend of technical finesse and emotive expression. The marketing guys. But it's got the same plate as the old Meze Empyrean, it would appear to me. I think that's the same little Ys all in a row. So maybe they just resurrected that mold to keep the price down. I'm told they're magnesium composite on the outer rings and stuff, so that'll keep them lightweight. And then you've got a little cheaper on the headband with the bands. That's not unlike the original Meze 109s. They probably ported a bunch of parts over and to try and keep the price down. These are only $2,000, guys. These are the same price as the Lyric. So you get an open back version of the Lyric basically for $2,000 of the Lyric 2, which is better than my Lyric 1 here that I started the show with today. But I think they're really attractive. I think they're pretty. This has been redesigned. This is different because you're obviously, instead of attaching to a band, you're to the carbon fiber bands, you're attaching to these cables. So they re-engineered this, but it's got the same post and slipping mechanism to adjust the ear height. Everything Meze does is premium. They don't do bad stuff. You know you're going to get a hell of a build. The question with them is always the technicals, because they have typically lagged a little bit in the technicals for their price. But at $2,000, that's an attractive price, I gotta say. I'm very impressed with this. This is the same basic area as the Abyss that we looked at last week, the Joel. So, you have your choices now. You can get something that's really plush and over-engineered on the design. Or, you can probably get something. I'm assuming that the Abyss is probably going to be a little better for detail. They tend to be pretty good at the detail retrieval. Both are easy to drive, though. 55 ohms, nice. Pretty easy to drive headphone. And good response. And I always find the relaxed nature of the Mezes to be really wonderful, excepting the Elite 2, which was a little more biting. Or sorry, the Empyrean 2, which is a little more biting on the upper mids, but they look terrific, and they have the same ear pad system, magnetic ear pads. Here they are broken down. Here's the exploded look at them. kind of nice. I gotta say, you know, it at $2,000, we're finally getting some value to trickle down from those premium cost no object flagships, and the trickle down technology is appreciated, I think, by most of us who are on a budget, especially me now. Can't afford any of them. So very cool on the Meze Poet, and that is debuting this weekend at New York Can Jam. Some other reviewers got advanced versions of it. You know, Meze, despite me having purchased 2 new headphones from them, 2 new headphones and 1 used headphone. The Lyric I bought used. Our little show doesn't register as part of the beta program, I guess, on those headphones. I'd love to get stuff. It would be fun to get in on that and let them, get access to these things early. But here's the Lyric. Let's look at the because it really does look like they kind of combined a couple of different things, you know. Let's look at the Classics, because I think they have the same outer structure, if I'm not. Nope, those have got bands. What was the one? Didn't they have one that had, maybe it was the original 99. No, these all have straps. Maybe I'm just talking up my butt. I was just looking to see. Oh, sorry, I took you offline. I was just looking to see what if they stole any parts from the other headphones. But the Air 105, these all have straps across the top. I'm talking about this part here above the top, because now it's a cable on this new headphone. So I was wondering if they took that from a previous model, but I can't find any other model that employs that technique. And the Lyric is a band. It's a metal band across the top. We know that. And then the 99 Classics are a band also. So I don't know. So this is a new thing. Maybe this is a whole new deal where they're going with because AKG, you know, AKG uses these bands quite a bit, and I think a couple of the Dan Clark headphones also use this cable suspension technique. But you know they've got that custom head pad on them, which I think is terrific. I think it really is great at distributing weight. It's this kind of omega shaped headband. Well, they don't have it look. They don't let you look at it sideways, but it's an omega shape, and it distributes weight very comfortably across your head. I've never had. That's the best thing about Meze is that it's the most comfortable headphone. They make the most comfortable headphones. I think they're just phenomenal. So good. All right, so that's the Meze Poet. Put your comments about the Poet in the chat, if you will. I'm going to start reading through the chat, and then we'll take a look at a viewer system, and I'll send you on your way for the rest of the week. So cool. And you can ask me anything. Ask me any questions you want about the KGS or the Eversolo thing, or whatever. Just it's a free for all here. There's no rules. We don't have roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Cheeky Fest is in the house. Michael P. says, no one praised the Poet. No one is allowed to like Meze products without being told how mediocre they are, apparently. I never said anything about being mediocre. I like them. I like Meze products. If they're not for you, that's cool. But man, I like them. I think they're fantastic. I think they're the most comfortable headphone, and to me, like, comfort is as important to the overall on any headphone as anything. If these things were uncomfortable, why would I wear them? Why would I do it? Makes no sense to me. You're going to spend hours in these things, and if they make your ears hurt, my God, why would you do that? And I think they're nicely detailed. I think they're not detail kings. They're not going to remind you of the Caldera or the Sisvara. But they have a beautiful sound shape, very nice V-tuning on a lot of their higher-end stuff. And they flatten that out with the Elite, and they added a bunch of detail to it. I think they're fabulous. The Elite I still have and use regularly. Not a headphone I'm eager to get rid of, for sure. I think they're terrific. I like them, and they're very musical and smooth. They're kind of, to me, when I think about what is the dynamic driver equivalent of the Meze Elite, I think about the ZMF Atrium, right? Which is a nice, smooth, dynamic driver. It's not going to blow you away in detail. It's not, but it's just got a beautiful sound to it. And they're so enjoyable to listen to. And they're enjoyable to hold in your hands. They're such a work of art. And the Mezes are engineered to the nines. It's got beautiful, beautiful construction. And they're comfortable and they sound good. And, you know, are they the leader? You know, no, but they're not priced like the leader either. You know, they're not a $6,000 headphone. They're a $3,000 headphone. And I think for what they are, they're right where they need to be. I'm very happy with the Meze line. I think there was a period of time they were skewing a little bit more expensive, but now everything else is caught up to them anyway, so it's kind of moot, you know. Oh, says Cheeky Fest. My needs in the house. Cheers, brother. I was just talking up your mod house. I was listening to hip hop, and man, what a great hip hop headphone. God, they thump, they boom, they're moving. They're not too bright. You know, the problem with you don't want a bright headphone with hip hop because there's a lot of spoken word. There's a lot of lip smack and stuff because these guys are chunking through a whole bunch of dialogue in a hurry in some cases, and or they're smoothing it out like hip. And you don't want a sibilant headphone that kind of calls attention to the vocal at all because they are cranking out the lyrics in those things. I was wondering the production, like, are they going straight through or do they just they must do them in chunks, because how hard is it to get that much vocal out? But then they got to do it live, so I assume they can. I don't know. But I thought it was just a perfect hip hop headphone. Man, what a great time. I had a great time last night listening to music. And then you got this Ever Solo here as the front end. It was doing a beautiful light show for me. And just a great night around the director's garage. Had a real nice, and I was so tired from working on Tuesday. It was like, I moved about 500 pounds of gear myself, you know, across town, set it up and tore it down and moved it back here and set it up again. Michael, you're a poet and you don't even know it. No, tell me about it. I love that. Cheeky Fest. He watched Josh's V review and part of Kurwang's video. Did Kurwang got something on it? I always like Kurwang. He's kind of like he's my headphone review spirit animal. I'd love to be Kurwang because he has so much more knowledge than I have of the whole thing. I'm more of an opinion and a lifestyle kind of reviewer. I try to think of things like how would I use them, my use case, would I want them, would I recommend them or not? And I don't get into, you know, rankings and all that stuff. I don't care. I talk about, you know, if I do a ranking, it's more in fun than anything. But I second guess myself constantly anyway. I'm terrible at that stuff. But Kurwang, like, he gets into the nuts and bolts of things a lot, and I'm impressed by his knowledge, his technical knowledge. So yeah, I'd love to check that out. Maybe I'll look that up off the air. Obviously not on the air. That would be rude. Sit here and watch me have to watch somebody else's video while we're live. Rude. Guys. David Kirschner says, hello, everyone. Cheers, buddy. Welcome to Thursday Happy Hour. I played the hump day music, but I'm like, it's close enough. We're a day late. When aren't we a day late? Cheeky Fest is a poet, and he does know it. Oh, well, we're talking about the Holly now. We're getting to the Holly comments. Paper cuts are horrid. Yeah, and he got him. It was from a wire, man. It was, he was so torn up. And like, even he didn't want to go in the litter box. He didn't want to, he just was miserable. He was such a miserable boy. And now he's pouting near the door. He wants me to let him out so bad. But I'm like, I don't want him getting out there. Get some work boots for his paws. I know. He'll just tear him off. He's a wild one. Ken in the house. Ken Workshop. Hope y'all are great. you see, Ken, my headline? I listed the KGS, man. Ken has heard this KGS. He came over and was listening to it. He's like, yeah, it's the best. It's the best one. So good. God, that's such a good E-Stat amp. Sorry to see it go. I just can't justify it. And I need to take the funds of that and send Ray something. It's not even what I need to send him, but it'll be something to say thank you and just bear with me, buddy, while I'm hunting for new work. Got an interview on Friday though. That should be exciting. I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. And then there's some other things out of state that are starting to potentially line up. We'll see where that goes. I'm just trying to find the right work, boys. It's nice to do a job though. I would love to do that full time, you know, and have a dedicated rig for that, for going in and doing like production junkets and things like that. And we go in and light it and mic it and hook up all the communication stuff and, you know, direct it, you know, get the shots just right. And it's stuff I love to do. But I need somebody to hire me on a day-to-day basis to do that. That's not looking likely right now. Everyone sleeps on Eversolo. Is sleeping a good thing or a bad thing? Larry Longnuts, and thanks for joining Patreon, Larry. I just saw your note. You signed up for the unpaid version, but it's okay. I'm just glad to have you in the house over there. But is sleeping, when you say you sleep on something, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Because I would think, you know, in some ways I would say, well, it's a good thing, but I think it's great. I'm like such a fan of that Eversolo stuff. For the money, what you get, it's like, you know, you look at the $5,000 Hi-Fi Rose, and then you look at what you get in the Eversolo, like the A8. It's like, oh, it's such a deal, such a good purchase. Get it Audio 46, by the way. Coupon code Directors Garage, all one word. Save a few bucks, maybe. Try it. Shameless whore that I am. Cheeky Fest, can't jam, i.e. can't go to Can Jam. Ah, that sucks. Yeah, I can't either. I can't head off to New York. Hey, baby, I know I'm unemployed and I'm not making any money, but do you mind if I take some of our savings that we need to, you know, pay the bills and pay for the mortgage and go hang out with a bunch of my friends in New York looking at stuff I can't afford right now? That'd be bad. Dude, that shed is open and ready for you to sleep in right now. Take him right out to the woodshed, boys. I'm not even going to pass go, not collect my $200. I'll just go sleep in the woodshed direct. Poet because lyric. Oh, that's clever. I like that, Cheeky Fest. Nice, good observation. Very nice. In the $2,000 range, okay, it's safe, and give Ryan your money. That's true. That's true. You know, your mod house, yeah, pay Ryan your money. I get it. Yeah, for $2,000, you know, you're in that mod house. That's a formidable headphone to have to contend with. You just get different things. You know, it's just going to come down to what you want. But man, I'm telling you, boy, that mod house was so fun last night. So glad it was here. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for making a great product, buddy. It's awesome. For those of you who are unaware, Ryan Dietz, who's in our chat right now, is the owner and founder of Modhouse Audio, and he makes that tungsten. It's on the back shelf here. Tungsten that we've... Pardon. Don't look at my butt. Tungsten that we've reviewed on this channel, and I did surgery on it on this channel. I replaced the cups with these. Brian custom did this in the Director's Garage colors. And I like the feel of these too, myself. They're little, you know, they're kind of like sandy kind of feel, like they're a little coarse. I just kind of like them. I like them, and they're really comfortable, just very comfortable. Not too much clamp pressure. I enjoy this headphone. I think a lot of them, and I love the way they sound. My God, they're so good. Just need a killer size amp to drive them. It's the only downside to them. You gotta have a powerhouse. But man, when you got when you hook that thing up, oh, does it go? What a great headphone. But I'm a whore. I like headphones. Hi, I'm Michael. I like stuff. Oh, it's too easy. Smaller ear cups than the Lyric. Oh, I don't know. It didn't look that way to me, but it's hard to tell from a photo. The Lyric, what I like about this one, now the new Lyric has wood inserts here. They're kind of, you know, Meze likes to do some wood things. These are kind of like a leather coated plastic thing, and I really like these. These are premium feel to me. I actually like these more than I like the wood look. I'm sure the new Meze, the Lyric sound, these have compromises. These aren't a perfect headphone. I have no headphones perfect. I always said when I reviewed these the first time, the only time for that matter, the biggest the two things that they got wrong on this headphone were they didn't give you the magnetic system to pull the ear pads off, and they were $1,000 too expensive for their sound. This is a perfect $1,000 headphone. If you find these for $1,800 now, they're worth picking up, but they're not worth $2,000. There's too many good entries that surpass the sound of these. But I enjoy them. I like them. What am I going to say? I know a lot, and these got bashed by a lot of people. A lot of people didn't like the Meze Lyric 1. The Lyric 2, they said it was a step in the right direction. It still isn't getting a lot of love. David Kirshner. Sorry. Spacey for a second there. Just thinking through things to say. Did anyone see the collaboration power amp from Orchid Audio and Zeos? Nope, can't say I have. I heard Ryan likes it for driving the Tungsten. You know what Ryan likes for driving the Tungsten is that the custom Tungsten amp that he built with former Bakun. And now, what did Bakun become? I reviewed the damn amp and I forgot the name of it. Enlium. He has the portable Enlium that's designed specifically for his, and I've lost the live page. Okay, the Enlium. So he'd probably like that too, because it's built for his amp, or for his headphone. Phenomenal. But no, I haven't heard the Orchid Audio. I don't even know what Orchard Audio is. And I know Zeos by name. I haven't met him, but you know, seems cool enough. Camera on the head. Hey Spades, howdy! Cheers, brother. Glad you're joining us on a Thursday. Nice looking set again from Meze. Yeah, I agree. These things are beautiful. Just, oh. You might even say they're poetry. God, stop with the dad jokes. No, this is nice. It's a handsome headphone. It's very attractive. That's a nice looking headphone right there. Like I said, I do think that this is lifted from the original Empyrean, though. If I had to guess, kind of looks very similar to the original Empyrean when I had the copper ones. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Who knows? But I agree. Beautiful headphone. David Kirshner, he'll be at Can Jam this weekend. Oh, go say hi to Ryan at Can Jam if you can. Hopefully you can go or know someone who you trust for impression who's going. Yeah, absolutely. Abyss and Mimic will have one. That's that new Orchard Audio amp collab with Zeos. Sure. Why not? Go hear it. Go listen to it all, boys. It's all there for the taking. Abyss and Mimic will have one. Arthur Haywood says, cheers, Arthur. Welcome. He knows that they have some copyright branding on the inside cup to credit DCA. Really? On the Meze? Interesting. Haters. Swamp getting in the game. JTB, which Meze is best? Elite, MP1, or MP2? Well, for me, it's the Elite of those three. I like the warmth of. I like the Elite. I mean, I like the MP1, but the MP1 didn't have enough detail for me, and they really solved that with the Elite. And they gave it a little more body too. There's a little more oomph. It seemed to me like they tightened up the bass, maybe. You know, like it was more resolving. I enjoyed the Elite more than the Empyrean 1, obviously, because I sold the Empyrean 1 after I bought the Elite. And the Empyrean 2 I thought was okay at Can Jam. Not the best environment. We know it's not a show environment or anything, but you know, it's a show environment. I'm not going to get the best audition there. But I thought they were okay. They didn't impress me though. It wasn't a headphone that after listening to them I went, "Oh man, I want to own these," you know. When I heard the ribbon the ribbon headphones, the RAL 1995 Amanis. When I listened to that headphone, I was like, I could see myself wanting these. I could also see myself like maybe getting a little tired of the sound of them over time. But there's no doubt they were spectacular. They brought something, you know, they really impressed me. And I wasn't blown away by the Empyrean 2. I didn't feel like walk away from that audition thinking I had to have that, you know. Moot, or as Joey friend says, moo. The point is moo. Good Cheeky Fest, I like that. That was funny. Arturo Martinez, hi Michael. Meze product line is starting to be overpopulated, a little bit like HiFiman. Shall we consider them direct competitors? Well, you know, obviously every brand is a competitor with the other brands. I'm trying to think, you know, well, they've got the low end is really filled out now, you know, with the 105 Air and the 109s and the 99s and the classics, and, you know, and those are all dynamic driver headphones. And then you get into the Renaro thing with the Lyric. And this is kind of I mean, you can make the argument that, I don't know, I haven't heard them side by side, but this is potentially like the open back version of the Lyric. So there's nothing wrong with that. And that's at the $2,000 level. And then from there you go up to the Empyrean 2. And that, so I don't know, I don't think they're as populated as the HiFiman line is. HiFiman's got, like, you know, the Aria, our Stealth, you know, they've got stuff just a couple $100 apart, whereas I think Meze has a little better pace, a little better spread across the price points. That's what I think, anyway. And they're trying to sell product and get people interested in new stuff. And if they can trickle down some of that elite magic into the $2,000 price point headphone that people like, and I don't know if people like it or not. We got to see what reviews come back as. But they look impressive, and you know, Meze tends to not make really bad products. I don't think there's anything I've heard that I went ew. You know, some people went ew with this Lyric, but I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice little travel headphone. I just thought it was a little pricey for what it was. Cheeky Fest says, oh, right, thanks for the kind words on Ryan. Cheers, brother. You're always welcome here. You always have a home. It's important to keep him safe whilst he recovers. That is so true, Cheeky Fest. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm dragging my feet. And he's like just at the door right now, just looking outside like, oh, I just want to go run outside. And I'm like, dude, not ready yet. You're going to be inside the rest of the week. He's not going to be happy, but he's going to be inside the rest of the week. Yes, incredible amp. Oh, okay. Are we talking about which amp are we talking about, Ken? Are we talking about the new collab with Orchard Audio? Or are we talking about the small little Anlium? I lost track. Ryan says he does have a DMP A6 and he's very happy with it for the price, using it as a speaker rig as a source. Yeah, you know, as a source for, you know, I don't think the DAC in it is the best thing, and that'll come out in the review. I'll talk about the DAC a bit. The DAC and the clock are the weak links in this thing. But holy Hannah, guys, I'll do some tasty B-roll of the screen, and you can go back and watch the unboxing. I guess I showed some of it there, but the screen is so beautiful, and it's all touch screen, and you can play and rewind and move stuff around. And then there's an app that integrates with it that is phenomenal. You can just call it, go direct from Roon, you know, or go direct from Tidal or your streaming service, Qobuz, whatever you're using. You can go directly, you know, stream directly through the box. You don't need a computer attached to it. It'll just do all that work itself. So very attractive on many, many levels. And then you can go through Roon if you have it. I've had a little bit of a problem with Roon seeing this box in the right way all the time. It's a little cryptic, but it'll make sense when I do the review. There is one aspect of this. There are some limitations to this box. And we're talking about the Eversolo. I should show it because we're talking about it. Duh. Audio 46. We'll go into it in a second. That's Holly, by the way. Hear him in the background. Not a happy camper. Eversolo. Go to Eversolo. I told you he's going to bug me at some point. How you doing, buddy? I know you want to go out. You can't go out. Deal. So okay. Oh, it looks like they have an update now. There's a Gen 2 of this Eversolo. I'm going to show it to you. It says here that it's a Gen 2 and it's now $100 more expensive. So $859 instead of $759. And there's probably a new jack. Yeah, there's a new DAC in it. They've improved the DAC. But this is what we're talking about. We're talking about this little streamer box, and it's super nice. I mean, it's this big. It's you know. No, I'm not on camera. Oh, my production ways. It's about this big, guys. It's, you know, I'd hold it up, but it's wired in, so I don't want to do it. It's just fantastic. It's this little streamer box, and it does so much. You can hang a drive off the back of it. You can. It takes an SD card. You can load the SD card up with music and stick it in there. You can run it off of your Ethernet. You can run it off USB, HDMI, digital in, all sorts of stuff. But there are some limitations, like, for instance, you can't be on USB, the USB input, and then send out a digital signal to an outboard DAC. You have to be coming in through the Roon network for it to send the digital signal out to an outboard DAC. So there's some limitations in configuration and the way you can use it that maybe go away in some of the higher end units. I don't know, because I'm not reviewing the other units, the A8 and the A10. But you have some limitations there that to the way it will function. And I'll demonstrate all of this when I do the full review for y'all. But it's good. I mean, it's still great. It's still a phenomenal unit. Really like it. And it decodes, and it's like a Ginsu knife too, you know, with the way it takes almost any format. Kirwong said smaller cups. Can't remember which one. Well, whatever. I'm talking about the Meze. Or maybe it was Josh who said it. Somebody said it. Somebody said something somewhere. And Nephilim, hey guys, I'm late coming home through the door, but I've now got dinner in hand and I'm ready for some witty banter. Well, I'll settle for banter, boys. It doesn't have to be witty. Little Man the OG says he heard the Unliam Portable is top notch for the money, but man, 2K is a lot. Well, I mean, it's relative in this day and age. AMTS, a licensed version of. Oh, you mean they're using some sort of metamaterial in the headphone? Well, that could be. That makes sense. Licensed version of it. Okay, that would make sense why it's got the a little nod to old Dan Clark there. They're making some hay with that AMTS stuff with their E3, which I really liked. Thought that was a great headphone. Don't like the looks of it, but as far as sound was really good for a closed-back. It's one of my favorite closed-backs. Little Man the OG says, wished Meze made more closed backs. Everything is open backs outside of the 99 Lyric. Yeah, I mean, they'll get to it when I suppose they're good and ready. But they know, maybe they know their market better, you know, that the market is stronger for open backs right now. I'm sure they've done research, you know, people don't ignore markets that they're able to move units in, you know, but I guess they're not selling as many. Arthur Haywood, yes, Meze is using Dan Clark's AMTS inside the Poet. Okay. That's interesting on an open back that they use the AMTS. Meze has a ways to go to catch up to HiFiman and Sennheiser with their lineup of headphones. Yeah, but they're a smaller company too, you know. That's the other thing, JTB. Like they're not of the, you know, even Audeze is a bigger company than Meze, I think. They make, but they, you know, they engineer the crap out of everything though, which I really appreciate. And I do enjoy their house sound. I think their house sound is very pleasing. It's very musical. It's very, very beautiful headphones they put together. Worth investigating if you haven't. The Orchard Audio Valencia boasts about 17 watts into 32 ohms, he thinks. It's essentially a power amplifier for headphones. You have to control the volume using a preamp you set and forget. Okay. Yeah, a lot of amps. So it's just a power, yeah, like you said, a power amp for headphones. That makes sense. That makes sense. Even FoKus has confusing amount of headphones now. I'm going to leave that alone. Because I don't like a lot of FoKus headphones, boys. I'm not a huge fan of their headphones. I just think that they're so married to this beryllium idea, and I think beryllium is a very bright sounding material. I don't think it does good things for sound, in my experience. It's not to my liking. Dixter says the new Meze headphone stand is really nice, the chrome one. I saw that, but I haven't. It's been, oh, Brian's leaving. Cheers, Ryan. We're going to leave too in a bit. I'm going to do a viewer system in a minute. Wayne Hines sent us some photos. So we're going to take a look at some of his portable gear in just a second. But even FoKus has a confusing amount of headphones now. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, especially because they've got the new Oddness, Hadeness, whatever the hell it is. And yeah, the Asuris. And then the Batiste and the, oh boy. Yeah, they have a lot. Guilty. Stamp. Guilty. The new Meze headphone stand is really nice. Yes, I've seen it. Can't recall it off the top of my head. I'm not going to look it up right now. But yeah, I remember them doing a nice one. At least it's not as expensive as the Abyss. The headphone stand. Ace Spades, have any recent music recommendations for the chat? He's always looking for new tunes. He's been listening to Downriver Collective. I had a thought today. You know, obviously I was kind of doing into hip hop, but this is off that beaten path. If you liked the Yardbirds and you like kind of that 60s gritty rock sound, the original Yardbirds, you know, without Page, Clapton, or Beck, reunited in the 1980s, and they did an album called Box of Frogs. And if you get a chance, check that out. It's got it's a little bit produced like an 80s sounding record in the way they use reverb, but really good music. Like, it's a really good album, phenomenal album. I have it on LP. From back in the day, and it's an album I turn to every once in a while. Just thinking about that today, about an album that I don't know if I've recommended before. Look for an album called Box of Frogs, and it's like a mid '80s record, like maybe '84, '85, I can't remember. And they had a second record, but I don't think it was very good, if I recall. But it's been a number of years since I've spent time with the Box of Frogs. But I should do that. Oh, look, there's Holly. You just saw Holly jump in. He's right under the camera lens right now. He is so pouty, boys. He wants out so bad. Nah. happening, buddy. I love you, though. Good boy. So that's going to be my recommendation. We'll see what the chat comes up with. Thank you for... cheers, Ryan. Thank you for making the most voltage-hungry headphone on the planet. Amp designers have to step up their game for that headphones. He loves that. Cheeky Fest. Doesn't Abyss have too similar models? I think their Diana line is crowded. I think they've overdone it with the Diana line. And this new headphone looks a lot like a Diana 2, so it's going to be further confusing the matter. That said, they have some good headphones in there. But yeah, good. I'm going to pause it here in the chat real quick. Let's go over to our viewer system of the day. This one comes to us courtesy of a gentleman named Wayne Hine. Let me call up this stuff so I can have some data in front of me to tell you about. And what we're going to look at is a little portable device he uses. MacBook Pro, yeah, we're good. It's called the Muse. It's called it's a new portable DAC amp. It's called the Muse M5 Ultra. And there it is. Oh, hey, get back in line here, guys. So we can take a look at, oh, there's Holly just running across my desk. Good thing we were cut to the cut to the laptop. But yeah, this is the M5 Ultra. I love devices that give you a little look-see at what's going on under the hood. I always appreciate that design. It just shows like almost a pride in the way they laid out their circuit board, you know? Like, check this out. This is pretty badass, you know? So the Muse M5 Ultra. Portable DAC with headphone amplifier. So there's no, it'll decode stuff, but it's not a front end player, it looks like. Maybe it is a player. Is there a screen somewhere in our feature? I don't think so, though. I think that this is a straight amplifier. Yeah, it's like a straight DAC amp. So in the same way that the Chord Hugo is a DAC amp, that's what this does. It does very similar things. It gives you a little, you know, it's battery powered, so you get a lot of battery life on it, and it'll tell you the input source and what it's doing. And then there's the tube glow, because it's a hybrid, so there's tubes. There's a tube stage to this thing. It's very cool. He says he wishes that the battery was bigger. If he has a knock on it, the tubes just chew up battery life. But what a cool little device. He wanted to share that with us. So I want to thank Wayne for sending over photos of his really cool tube hybrid DAC. Oh, wow, what's going on there? Hey MacBook, get your crap together. His really cool tube hybrid DAC amp. Thing's really neat. So cool. Props to Wayne Hine for sending that in. And if you have a viewer system you'd like to share with the class, you can send it to directorsgarage at gmail.com. Or email, I suppose. That'll work too. No, directorsgarage@gmail.com. Send your photos over, guys, of whatever it is you got that you want to show off, a new IEM, whether it's a new headphone, to Ken, who's out there. I know he's got he's a day away from getting his ZMF Bokeh closed. Or Bokeh Open back. So hopefully he'll send us a photo of that when he gets his Bokeh Open in. Bokeh Open really stole my heart at the LA Can Jam. But whatever you get in, guys, just send us a photo over here and we'll show it off. No stress. No, nobody's gonna make fun of, the whatever's in the background. Did you see he's got doily curtains hanging in the background? What's going on there? Nobody does that. It's all about just checking out your gear and sharing it with the class. And this is what I'm into today. It's a way to connect with each other, through our gear. Holly would like to connect with the outdoors right now. He's at the window crying. He's a big boy, guys. He's like 14 pounds. He's a beefy cat. I've raised a big Yeah, but JTB, we were left off at Cheeky Fest. Abyss has too many Diana models, I think, because there's, they've had revisions to the line, but they never like kept when they had the Abyss 1266, and they did the ceramic version of it. When they released the TC Total Consciousness version, they didn't eliminate, they eliminated the previous version. So it's like, but the Dianas, they've kept all of these other lines, the Diana MR and the whatever, and then there's still the Diana TC at the top of that line. It just seems like they've got a lot. There's a lot going on. So there you go. Gonna do a few more, guys, and then I'm gonna call it, because Mr. Director's coming home early. We're gonna go do our little neighborhood walk, and things are gonna go well tonight. We're gonna watch some TV, and I'm gonna make some burgers, and got a lot planned. It's gonna be a good night, except for Howley, who's gonna be stuck in the house. Visually similar, yes. Well, they're the Diana line. They built out that Diana line so heavily with all those different models, and the Z whatever, and then there's the MR, and who knows what it all is. JTB, stop caring about Focal headphones when they clipped at higher volumes. No thanks. I just find them to be aggressively bright for my musical taste. And I know there are guys who just love Focal. And I loved the Utopia until I discovered that it was something that I didn't like, and that was just experience and time with headphones. It revealed to me that I didn't really care for that sound that much, because the beryllium tends to be a very bright sounding material, and it emphasizes upper mids, and my ears are sensitive to that. So although at the time I was like, oh, this is great, it's got all this resolution, I didn't realize that I didn't like the tone of them until I heard a headphone that I like the tone better on. And that's part of the journey of any headphone person. Zooming back a little bit and getting out of the, this model and that model and what I like about this and that. As a hobby, the more you listen to this stuff, the more experience you have with different types of headphones and drivers and brands and gear to get behind. The more you hear these different types of drivers and the different headphones and the way they're tuned, the more you develop your opinion about what is best for you. And I tell people, all the time, don't just take my word for it on this stuff. Use your own hearing, right? Don't listen to some idiot on the YouTubes. I mean, you can listen to me just to hang out. It's fun to talk about this stuff, but don't make an informed purchase. Don't buy blind because somebody tells you that something is good, because I used to do that all the time. And it's how you spend a lot of money in a hurry on stuff that in the end you didn't really care about, So, there's stuff here that I really enjoy, but it took me a long time to learn what it was I appreciated about each of these things, what it was about the tungsten, that grabs me and says, hey, this is worth my time. And then there was this comment on Facebook that I commented on the other day, and it was about, in the end, at the end of the day, when it's all said, and I've got all of these headphones here, I've got Electrostats, and I've got the 1266 TC, and I've got the ZMF stuff, and as much as I love the Atrium, it's maybe my favorite headphone in the bunch. And the Mod House is so spectacular, and the Meze stuff is so good. At the end of the day, when you get down to it, you're down to your, it's this, right? This is, Abyss just released a headphone called the Joel. Isn't this the real Joel? I mean, it's expensive and it's hard as hell to drive. But you get back to this headphone after listening to other stuff and it's like, oh, there it is. There's the sound. That's the real sound. You know, that's the special, you know. That's the pocket. That's what everybody, you know. It's just so good on so many levels. When amped correctly. When amped, I always put that aspect. You'll chase that head. That JTB will tell you it is a nightmare of a headphone. But when you get it hooked up, there's nothing like it. Still nothing like it. You can take your veiled and stick them. I don't care about the unveiled stuff. I'm like, that headphone is still, you know, and it's at $3,000 right now. You can buy that headphone for $3,000. I'm like, that headphone is ripe to someday. I mean, they sold so many of them, so maybe it'll never bounce back. But I think if there's a headphone that will bounce back at some point, if HiFiman doesn't, reverse course on the unveiled thing, that headphone is going to be very desirable in the future because it's the standard. It's the, you know, it is the standard headphone in the high-end world. It still is. It's going to be for a long time because I don't think people are, I think the novelty, and yeah, I did hear some sonic improvement over the unveiled. The novelty of that headphone is that thing has got a shelf life. I'm telling you, in a year, nobody's going to care about the unveiled. Nobody's going to care. This whole unveiled trend is going to die. They're going to recognize it for the stupid idea that it was. HiFiman is going to start taking a bath on it, unless they're not replacing drivers for free, in which case they're building in automatic repair jobs, and people get sick of that, paying for it. Whatever it is, that's going to be the one that everybody goes back to at the end of the day. I still think that. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm, usually wrong. I'm an idiot. What am I going to tell you? JTB says the Focal Brontosaurus headphone. I know, right? But it's just I just think their line is bright. And if you like a brighter sounding headphone, you're going to be down with the Focal. They do get great detail. There's no question. They really get good detail, but you got to take a dose. You're going to have to get into the EQ land with that headphone. For me, anyway, if I'm going to enjoy it. Cheeky Fest, new music, Too Many Temples. Very nice. Copying that over. Going to put it in my notes. Because I've got some listening in the days ahead as I'm in the tax zone. That's the best part about tax season. Usually I have my turntable set up, and it's really fun to have the turntable set up in this era, when I'm going through taxes. And I just start playing LPs, but I don't this year. The turntable's not set up. As JTB likes to point out, I have not unboxed any of my records still to this day since I moved. And it's coming up on 2 years. It sat there. Beautiful turntable. I just don't have... It just seems like it's not something and now we're talking about moving, so... JTB's prophecy comes to pass. Trump Audio is about to introduce a new headphone called the Bombast. It's $14,495. And they come with a southern accent. Cheeky Fest. Is that Trump headphone so good that the ANC blocks out Trump's voice? You can't... No, come on, boys. We're politically neutral on this show. Speaking of headphone stands, he did order a ZMF Mega Solir. Still waiting on it, though. Yeah, well, if it's coming from Romania, it's going to be a minute. Open see-through, like one of the topping apps. Yeah, I always like that. I think that's a cool thing. Yeah, you love when it shows, like the Geshelli stuff. You can see through a lot of the Geshelli stuff has clear plexiglass around it. It's nice. It's a nice little handheld unit. I agree. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I had a thing like that. It wasn't I had that thing like that from Headamp. Headamp had a nice couple of portable models with tubes in them, and I had one of those for a while. I sold it, but I had a tube hybrid, but it was just the amplifier. But they, you know, all of them, like some of them will add the amp in and the DAC, and some of them just have the amp. And but I enjoyed that. I had a number of those little devices. They were so fun to put a little stack together. And then you realize as you get older that you don't really want to carry around one of those Mambo stacks of gear, like a separate thing for the amp and the DAC, and then marry that to the Chord Hugo, and then, you know, it's just I'm getting more and more appreciative of Tidal on my phone through a pair of Bluetooth headphones for moving around stuff and portable, you know, when I'm on the road. JTB's still using AOL. That's amazing. That's amazing, man. He's got the AOL You've Got Mail email address. The nice thing about the M5 is that it's wireless with tubes. Normally they don't put wireless tubes due to the noise. It's pretty cool. Oh, that's a good point. That's a great point. It's a nice point, Dexter. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Ace Spade says his cable situation is a mess, hence he never sends pics. Oh, so what? Who cares? It's like we haven't, like, there's not spaghetti behind this rack here. It looks all nice and pretty. But there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of junk sitting around there too. It's just out of focus. That's why we use this shallow focus, boys. Oh, the hawk just zipped into the tree across the way. So cool. We have this big hawk with a very wide, several foot wingspan. He flies around the neighborhood. It's very neat. Introducing Joel. MRDZTC, he gives up. Yeah. It's JOAL, though. Jack of all listening. Get it straight. So fun. He's got Focal floor standing speakers. I'd love a pair of Focal floor standing speakers. I used to have Focal speakers in my car. I had a Q5, an Audi Q5 that I replaced the speakers on. No, I didn't. That wasn't the Q5. That was a different car. It was a Jeep, Grand Cherokee. I don't know. But I put those Focal speakers, the car speakers, very nice. Sounded very good. I misspoke because the Q5 I had a Bowers & Wilkins sound system in that I've yet to hear anything better from a stock car. Hey, somebody's very unhappy. Utopia is very amp-picky. Yeah, I tried them. I had a whole bunch of stuff with them. I seem to recall them working well with the Ferrum ore stack for some reason. I could be wrong. Focal speakers are a different story. They are good. Oh, yeah. The floor standing speaker, and they're so expensive. Oh, my God. You know, they're a college education, some of them. Okay. You'd love to try some tungstens with a suitable amp DAC combo. Yeah, they're great. They're great. Needs to get his left ear cleaned. Okay. TMI. So as far as the special sauce, yeah, it has the special sauce. It really does. And I know JTB, you struggled with that one for a long time. But the reward once you find that right hookup. God, it's just addictive. It's just the headphone. It's the standard, you know. It's what you go to. Cheeky Fest has an Rega RP2 or 3, but he rarely uses it. Yeah, I've been away from vinyl for a while because it's all boxed up, and the plan was to remodel this house came with a little wine cellar, and I was going to take half the wine cellar out, and now we're talking about moving, so I'm like, kind of shoots that plan down. I was going to do a nice, because we had a long-term plan for this house. It's just work didn't cooperate. There was a real plan for what we're going to do in this house, but unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out to date. Maybe that'll change. Hipster Cow, sorry he's late. Hipster, I unfortunately listed the. Well, I'll show it to you. Over on HeadFi, I did list today the. What do I need? I need to get to a different app here. I listed the KGSSHV Carbon CC. And if it doesn't sell, it's yours, buddy. I know you wanted that badly. Here we go, head-fi. Classifieds. Is it still logged in? Yes. Excellent. We'll just spin through these real quick in our remaining minutes. And I'll show off my wonderful photography. I just took it with an iPhone. I'm like, do I want to dig out my camera that I just packed away? No, here it is. Carbon CC. Look, it's got our episodes on it too. Links through to the YouTubes. Probably steals views away. Hi, buddy. Oh, you're a good boy. But yeah, this is it. Selling the Carbon, the KGSSHV. Couple of photos. Very cool. I've never understood why people cover the serial numbers. Like what can you learn from the serial number outside of maybe it was earlier in the run or later in the run? And why would you hide it? I never understood why people cover that. Maybe they think they can look up their warranty information and find out where you live. I don't know. Seems odd. So what's for sale, by the way, around that? I'm asking $5,000 for it. I'm pretty firm on it. It's an $8,100 unit. So I think it's a pretty fair price, personally. Biodynamics T1. Wow. That's an OG. 400 SE. Very good price on that. $55. Great Britain. Coming through. Astell&Kern Jerry Harvey Audio. Nice. $1,200. What's this headphone? Which one? Layla, too. Oh, good ads. Pretty good IEM for a standard, like, off the shelf in a box. What's this T2? Goodness me. Oh, this is the same tube setup as the, oh, it's an ESTAT. So this is based on the KGS. This is based on the Blue Hawaii. Awfully expensive for what it is. Goodness. Yeah, it looks like the Blue Hawaii on the inside, too. It's got an extra set of pre-tubes, though. So maybe get a little extra tube goodness out of this thing. RK50, though. That was the RK50 on that. Separate power supply. That would be a very interesting... I'm encouraging somebody to buy this amp and then do a shootout with the Blue Hawaii and see which one comes out on top. It won't be me, though, boys. It won't be me. Stax Lambda. Good price. Good price. Anything else? Here's a Geshelli for $125. Somebody who wants to buy a Stax. Good luck with that. M2 Tech, Abyss 1266, $4,000. They're still holding their value pretty good there, that Abyss 1266 DC. Still technically the top of their product line. Sometimes I wonder why I'm holding on to mine. Very nice though. Here's a Western. Oh, this is... Wow, what a deal on this thing. This thing's like 15 grand new, this thing. This is a Western Electric amp, 300B amp, called the 91E. It's a pre, it's a bunch of things. But look at this design. I mean, it's... I like the, there's a champagne version of this that's just gorgeous. But it's a integrated pre. So it does switching and all that stuff. Comes with the tubes. 300B vacuum tubes. It's a beauty. This is one of the prettiest pre's I've seen. Integrated amps. So cool. I'm surprised to see one for sale. I've not seen ones for sale before. And surprised they listed it here and not on AudioGown. Because it's not really a headphone related product per se. Say EQ Armageddon. I don't know what it is, but I like it. It's one of those products you see it and you go, yes, please. Look at that. Anybody know anything about this amp? Put it in the chat. I hit the power button. The power button sets, this needs to be a hard toggle. Look at, note to you designers, take a look at the rest of these awesome, huge, heavy weighted toggles and knobs, and then you put a Mr. Coffee Maker power switch on it. It's the same thing that the Mascobo 465 did. Big mistake. Big mistake. You put cheap ass switches on your premium product. Don't do this, kids. Don't do this. Take it back. Make them put something nice on it. Say what you will. That KGS has a hell of a power button on it, you know? But I hate that. It's like a Mr. Coffee Maker. You know, oh, thanks. Black & Decker called. They want their power switch back. But otherwise, what a gorgeous looking product. Anybody know anything about that? Put it in the chat. Hear it before? I haven't heard it. Somebody selling ear pads. Triple driver. K11. An aroma sold. 105 Air, $300. Pretty good deal. Do a couple more pages and then we'll wrap this thing up. Hollow Bliss KTE going OG, $2,300. Little maybe. LCD-4. Is this a 4 or a 4Z? Looked a little curved, but maybe it's just the trick of the light. No, that's a 4. Always going to catch my attention. Hipster Cows 2. It's $2,650. Man, they're going back up. Well, he's trying to get $2,650 for it. I don't think he will. I think $2,100 is the magic price point for the LCD-4 right now. Verite closed stabilized. I always wanted a Verite closed stabilized. I mean, I always wanted just a Zach stabilized headphone. You know what I mean? Because they're so beautiful. Oh, look at that. Just a gorgeous headphone. My goodness. It's like a nebula or something from outer space. Fabulous stuff. It's got an atrium open that's got the partial epoxy mold, partial wood. Interesting look. And then a Kingwood Caldera. King Caldera in Kingwood. Very nice. Pretty. And nobody does wood like Zach. LS50. I love these. These are great speakers for near fields. I have the Genelex, but man, I like those. HiFiman R10P. Knockoff of that old Sony design. Premium price. All right, last one, then we'll wrap this sucker up. Symphonium Crimson. 64 audio looks like, but it's not. No, it's got the Crimsonian. I've never heard of these. $800. Pricey. Pricey for a generic IEM I've never heard of. $1,650 for an E3. It's probably going to come down further before he sells. I think that's a little pricey for a $2,000 headphone. You gotta give people a reason to jump in. Bioelectric, $1,500. That's about a standard price for that. They don't drift too much in price. Okay, and sold down to 57. I think this is going to be a harder unit to get rid of. Because you want to, you want to get the most out of it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to get that. It seems like an ambitious price point for that, but you never know. Somebody might bite. And I'm not sure, but I believe this is my very own GSX Mark II that's for sale that I used to have here. Because the guys, I know the guy took it in, and I know he had the new, he had a new attenuator put in, and I seem to remember mine having the same number of nicks that this one did in the same places, and it's the same color, it's silver, and I sent mine to Europe, so I have a hunch that that's my old unit that's for sale. Bounces around. It's so fun, you know. We're such a close community, and to see some of the gear that I once owned kind of cycle through some of your guys' hands, and then it comes up again for sale. It's so fun. It's so fun to see that. Oh man, it's so fun. All right, we'll get through the rest of the chat, then we're going to call it a night. But thanks, guys, for kind of hanging out with me on a Thursday. Sorry it's an off day. It's not our typical day. But you know, what are you going to do? And the Santa Anas are just starting to kick. I know we're getting a lot of wind this week, and I think they're just starting to kick in now. The trees just started moving on us. We're in for a rough night in LA again. Okay, Cheeky Fest says, well, we're going to skip the political stuff. Getting political is not good for business. I know. And I don't... The best thing about... Well, maybe not the best thing. The best thing might be listening to a piece of music that you love, you know, at a time when you just want to hear it in a special way. But one of the best things about the community is it's a common denominator where we can all meet. And it shows me that no matter what you believe in and who you support and what legislation matters to you, we are still more alike than we are different. We have more in common than we have apart. And that's great for our future. The thing is that we're constantly put at odds and taught to or told or out of hopes because it gets likes, clicks, ratings, whatever you want to say, when we're at odds with each other. And to have this common ground where it just doesn't matter who you support, who you like, we all like music, and we all like quality music played through expensive gear. That's the best thing. It's a meeting place. It's a place where we can all gather and realize, hey, all that we're not really that far apart on this stuff. You know what I mean? There you go. JTB still has Ace of Spades still has a Hotmail account. That's awesome. His 78-year-old mom still uses AOL email. Mrs. Director had one for a long time. At AOL email long after they were gone. I think they still exist and they're still valid. Server still works. Hotmail from '96. Deleted 10,000 emails from old girlfriends. The obsessed girlfriend from the 90s. What are you doing now? Car audio seems to be a thing Focal does. Yes, it is. It does something it does very well. His speakers, the Aria 926s from 2014. Yep. Hey, I've got a pair of Vandersteens here from the 90s. Fabulous speaker. Needs some TLC that Ken from Ken's Workshop is going to help me out on at some point. I apologize for Holly cranking out in the background. He's really wants to go outside, and I'm like, nope. Staring at the door, he's pawing at the door, looking outside, coming back over to me, meowing. Never. It's like a kid, I guess. If you got kids, you probably understand this. They were C2K at the time. 12K, probably. Not the bigger ones, yes. The biggest upgrade to his setup is cleaning his ears. Yeah. It's getting a fresh perspective. My best upgrade on my system is getting a new attitude. Like the Pointer Sisters. I got a new attitude. Best way to hear is to look after your ears. Hear more is to look after your ears. And also listen to different stuff. Listen to different music through different speakers. Listen to the same music through different setups. You know? The more experience, the more listening time you have, critical listening time, not like listening in the car when you're driving around and not paying attention. When you get that critical listening time, it's like that's when you start developing, you know, what you're listening to, and when you start to hear things, you know. And I still hear things. I still, you know. Neil doesn't listen to anybody. Black Diamond, he says, Black Diamond 6922 and Siemens 6SN7 tube for the analog bridge. That's good. 6SN7s I like are the round plate versions, but got to kind of hunt for those, and now they're over $1,000, I think, for a new old stock pair. Yes, Modrite. Mr. Dynamite says, hope all is well. He should never have sold his Meze Elites. He's currently headphoneless. Oh my God, perish the thought. He's thinking poet or Dan Clark. Your thoughts? Go listen to them. I haven't heard the poet yet. They say it's good. I mean, the Elite is the best. The Elite is just a great all-around headphone. I also would say check out the ZMF Atrium. It's, you know, but listen to this stuff. Go hear it. Don't take my word for it. Don't take yours. I love the Meze Elite, but you know, it's 4 years old now. It's been around a minute. It's due for an upgrade for sure. I don't see that escaping another year without an upgrade. There'll be an Elite 2 at some point. Dan Clark stuff. Well, the Noir 2 is out, and that's getting rave reviews, as it probably should if it is a true upgrade to an already great headphone. I haven't heard it myself, though. I can't give you anything solid, just telling you what I've heard. JTB, when he sees Abyss stuff now, all I can think of is that cringe YouTube video with DMS and the guy and that guy Linus saying, "I wouldn't cry, Abyss Diana." Oh yeah, when he made the guy cry listening to I'm like, oh God, man. I have had that experience though, where a friend has come over and he got teary-eyed when he was listening to this stuff. But you know, whatever. He talked him into it. There was a sucker punch. He hit him in the biscuits when he wasn't looking. Made him cry. Hipster Cow. Man, he only had the cash on hand right now. Too many audio products on his radar. I know, brother. But maybe it'll be around. Maybe it won't. Who sees? Who can say? I think Gene has a T2 E-Stat amplifier. Oh, yeah, you're right. And he showed it to us. Gene, the mean machine, man. He's got stuff. Gene's going to CanJam. That's why we're going to delay our Hangover Hangout till the week after next, because I want Gene's report from CanJam. Everything he saw, I'm going to let Gene kind of run the show a little bit, because he makes good observations. He's going to give us a good report on all things CanJam from a user, from us guys, like the practical use, practical take on CanJam New York. Not the official thing where they're overhyping everything. I want to hear, like, what did you really think? And Gene will give that to us in our next Hangover Hangout. That'll be a week from Saturday on March 1st. And then I'll try and squeeze in a second Hangover Hangout in March because I like to do one a month, and we had ours late in January, and then the first couple of weeks of February got dicey for me, and for a variety of reasons. See the poop show that we talked about last week. Anyway, so we're going to do it the first week of March, and I'll try and do a second one a few weeks later with a different guest or something. Figure it out. I produce on the fly, boys. That's what we do. Ace Spade says, that is beautiful. This is like audio porn. That's when we're going through all the CAD-Fi stuff. I know, I love it. It's my favorite segment to do, because it's just like you're looking at what people are selling, and then you get your mental stimulation going like, oh, maybe should I look at that? Man, that looks really good. You know, wouldn't that look good on my desk? Yeah, all of that stuff. Someone has a Deckware amp it's for sale on HeadFi. I'm saying this, I assume it's Deckware. There's like a 2-year wait on anything from them. Look that up at some point. You can look that up offline. I'm just trying to get through the rest. Yeah, Deckware, I figured. That's not an amp, that's a nuclear football. SAEQ, Serbian audio equipment. They specialize in amplifiers for ribbon headphones. Oh, Nephilim dropping the knowledge on us, man. Good on you, my friend. Thank you. Really doesn't mind the power switch on the Mass Kobo. He's not sure why it's contentious. I just think it's... Here's my argument, hipster. It's $18,000. You put a $4 component on the front of an $18,000 unit. Come on, man. Come on. Go find yourself a power... Look. This power button back here. Beautiful glow. Turns, you know, change color when it's ready. It'll blink. It'll do some different things. It'll dance. It'll rock and roll. That's not a cheap-ass power switch with a plastic clip housing it, you know, holding it to a faceplate. I'm just saying that I expect when you get into that price point, when you get up over that 10 grand point, you got to bring it on the components. RK50, you know, volume knob. Best volume knob on the planet. Beautiful, liquid smooth, good weight to it. You know, I'm just saying, like, you got to bring it with these components, guys. If you're gonna charge that premium product price, I want to see it. I want to see it. Show it to me. Give me something. Give me something. You know, put it on the faceplate somewhere. Use heavy duty connectors and switches, and you know, this thing's built like a tank. There's everything in that Bray Samuels unit. I'm not saying it's the most expensive. I'm saying it's like it's built. Everything has a ka-chunk to it. Everything has a feel like you've really maximized the value. And the switches on that 465 are flimsy. They wiggle, they jiggle, they dance around on your finger, and they don't have any like definitive positions. Off, on, hard switches, well-made stuff. Everything's got a feel to it. You got to bring that when you're talking about that level of product. That's my argument. And I appreciate that this doesn't matter to everybody else. Some people don't care. But even look at, you know, can I hold this up without everything falling over? Okay. Here's the Ever Solo. Here's the A6, and I'm listening to some Bill Evans on this thing. But look at the lit dial, the beautiful knob. This is a $850 unit, touch screen. It's, you know, antennas on the back, like done right, done well, and that's at $850 or $750. You gotta bring it. You gotta show me what you're making me pay for. Don't load up your expensive stuff with cheap components, especially when that's the tactile interface for the thing that turns the thing on, and you've got a $3 power switch off of Mr. Coffee Maker, you know, that you sourced from China, the same guy, same place that they get the Mr. Coffee Maker switches from. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it doesn't matter to me. I understand that, but that's my personal rant. Like, you've just got to bring it. I want to see it show up in the build. I have no problem with paying 18 grand. But if this DCS thing had substandard crappy ass switches on it, and the terminals were terrible, I would be pissed. I'd be pissed. I would be. I'd be like, you know, why would they do that? Why do you cheap out there? You know, At what point, why would you cheap out on that? That's, it's a $30,000 stack when you buy the amplifier along with the clock and the Lena DAC. And you're going to cheap out on like the power switches? No, you got to bring it, man. Got to bring it. Anyway. And I'm not saying they're the fanciest in the world on the Lena. They're not. They're get me over, but they're not they're not like China source parts that are flimsy and, you'd find on, but at least they're nice and chunky and, I'm just saying. It shows. The build shows. It's 80s delight. Okay. Ace Spade says the Fostex HPV8 tube amp is beautiful, as well as he loves the old school look. I'm not going to look that up right now because I'm trying to wrap us up, but that's something to put a bookmark in that and make me look it up on the next show. In fact, I'm going to put it in my show notes so I can look it up next time. Fact on fact. I see a lot of ZMF headphones go up for sale. It makes him wonder. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the ZMFs. They're museum pieces. I mean, they're also beautiful. But they also are selling a lot. So, people move on. They want to try, or they want to move up in the line. Who knows? There's 1,000 reasons you'd sell your stuff. Little Man the OG says he thinks that people buy them as investments knowing they will get most of their money back in an emergency. HiFiman is a lot like that. All right, well, let's just break this down. It's a fun, quippy thing, but audio gear is not investments. They're depreciating assets. Don't invest in something that goes down in value. Right? You want to invest in stuff that goes up in value. It's my director's garage. I'm a financial nerd on some level, and I've been investment. I want to start an investment channel because I love investments that way, and I've been in it for so long, and I like. This stuff is not a good place to keep your money. Don't put anything in headphones that you can't afford to lose. It's like gambling. You don't gamble. Don't ever go out. I don't gamble at all myself, but don't go gambling with money you can't afford to lose. And on the idea that you're gonna parlay it, because you won't. The odds are against you. The odds are against you with all this audio gear. Look at this headphone. The Abyss has held its value, but I'm gonna lose my shirt on it at some point. You just know you are. The stuff loses value because it's got a wear to it. You're using them. There's a lifespan to it. At least it's not mechanical or as mechanical as, say, a car. But a car is not an investment. Even the high-end stuff, not an investment. Look at what the car market did. Everybody bought in because a lot of people jumped into the investment car market a couple of years ago because the resale values were going through the roof on things. 90% of them, except for a couple of models, have crashed back down to reality, and guys have lost their shirts investing in a car, what they thought would be a sure thing investment. Invest in stuff that goes up in value over time. Always goes up in value. Those are investments. These things will never be an investment. It's a loss thing. And I'm sure you were in jest there, but I'm just like, I always try and keep that in perspective. This stuff is not investments. You're going to lose your shirt on this stuff, no matter what it is. And you look no other than, the Lena amp is, 13 something new, or the DAC, Lena DAC, and it's coming down, boys. It's coming down like a rock. It just does. That's what this stuff does. It's new if it's in short supply, like the Zale HM1, it'll hold its value a little longer. But there's going to come a point at which you're going to be able to get a Zale for about $4,000, maybe even less. Don't kid yourself. That stuff's coming down in value at some point. HiFiman is still struggling to make a good closed-back headphone. On the high end, certainly. Yeah, there's not a good high end. Unless you buy the unveiled and put the veils on it, then it's a closed-back, right? SAE was Scientific Audio Engineering. He used to own one of their preamps with a built-in parametric equalizer back in the day in the 80s. Oh, yeah. I think that's IMJ's can that you just pulled up. Oh, he's selling it? Ah, damn. IMJ, I want to talk about Jonathan's... I'll talk to Jonathan about it. He'll be on the... He's usually on our Hangover Hangout. He shows up regularly. So does Hipster Cow. A lot of friends over there, guys. Got $3 will get you in the door, and that's it. And it's fun. It's just guys who just like this. We have the passion for this stuff, and we can all show our stuff off and to each other and talk about it. And it's an open conversation. It's much better than the YouTube's live stream. Nephilim says, Aether Hole, what a great name. I've been called many different types of holes in my lifetime. Ace Spade says, amen, can't agree with that. He doesn't want politics anywhere near the hobby. Agree. Nephilim says, lol, that's him. Surprised he's selling it. I thought he was in love with that app. Me too. We got to talk to Jonathan. We're going to have an intervention with Jonathan. We owe it to ourselves to continue learning and growing in all things politics and audio. He's a nice guy. Ran into him a few times at HeadFi. Great dude. Oh, yeah, Jonathan is. Yeah, for sure. Ace Spades, new good music. Cleo Soul. Okay, on it. Copying and pasting. But it didn't get the L, so I'm going to add the L. There we go. Politics. Really, it has no business being in the audio unless people name their headphones after politicians. Not happening in here. These are the Sleepy Joes. God, I'm dying. Can Jam was the social event after Can Jam. Jam Can. The social event after. We're going to do a Jam Can in a hotel room, we think, in the fall, if I'm still in LA. If I'm still in LA, we're going to do a little gathering after the Can Jams. In somebody's hotel room. We're going to all bring some of our good stuff, and we're going to set it up and let everyone listen to it. That's what we're doing. JTB is going for a ham jam pig roast this weekend. Goodness me. You're going to feel like a stuck pig when you're done, man. You're going to be so full. Your belly's going to be full of that pork. JTB says he's seen certain companies that include the same remote on their $3,000 DACs and amps as they did on their $200 models. Come on, man. I love it. Ace Spade says he's just convinced me audio get the B21 Raider for his top-of-the-line amp shootout. He's got quite a lineup right now. Well, I don't know those guys. The dude gets some high-end stuff. Yeah, he's like a Bond villain. Don't know how he gets it. He has great connections. I don't have any of those connections, boys. I'm now reading in jealousy. I want to start cheeky ventures. The only thing you put in headphones is money, cables, music, and time, and more money. Even if it's a Ferrari 250 GTO, especially if it's a Ferrari 250 GTO. Don't do it as an investment. Do it because you want to own it and it's a toy. Don't kid yourself into thinking it's an investment. It's not. Investments go up in value. Other shit goes down in value. Thanks to lose your shirt too. And believe me, I mean, because I'm the king of doing it. When I had money, I was buying stuff used, using it for a while and trying to resell it for basically what I bought it for. But there were some things that slipped so quickly, so fast. And I bought some stuff new. Like, look at the bath I took on that Verte open back. I mean, I got killed on it. And that was a limited edition, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, nobody cares. $2,000. But it was $3,400, $2,000. $2,000 is what you get. No soup for you. I always seem to be joining in the past. Binary, you're behind, buddy. Sorry. Headphones will become more expensive in the U.S. because of tariffs. The Chinese models will. It depends on how they're being done. If they're being manufactured all in the U.S., you should be fine. But some of the Chinese tariffs may get in the way of some of the components. I don't know. It depends on where people are sourcing stuff from. If they're sourcing them from Taiwan and Korea and wherever, if they're getting it from China, it could be a little more expensive. Who knows? Not so worried about it at this point in time. I mean, headphone stuff is going to be expensive no matter what, guys. That's the way it works. Welcome to the hobby. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it for today. I'm going to start the little outro music. Thanks for stopping by today. It was a lot of fun. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you enjoyed some of the tour of some of my headphones I've been listening to lately. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for sharing your thoughts with me too, because it's a good time in this hobby. We're heading into one of the Super Bowl weekends of our year for headphones. So, just make sure you spend some time with your favorite headphone this week, and salute those who can make it to Can Jam New York. It won't be me today. It won't be me this year. But I want to thank you for stopping by. No plans yet on the next episode, which will be the Ever Solo review. I'm still writing it, and I'm writing it in between doing my taxes, and I want to get my taxes done. So all that will happen, but we'll get to this Ever Solo review, and I can't wait to do it, and then get back into some regular stuff, some fun stuff around, and do some fun episodes. But at any rate, tip your waiters and waitresses, which is give me a thumbs up on the way out the door, and I will see you guys before you know it next week, right? Wow.
Set the headphones down, time, 'cause it's headphone king, 'cause it's time for happy hour, people.